50 years ago, a young boy lived in a place devoid of nature. There were no trees, no flowers, not even a single blade of grass. Nature existed only in the stories his grandmother told once he left his garden. This is good. Okay. Nature existed only in the stories his grandmother told back when the environment was once ripe. She told him of the rumors of the last existing seed that was stashed away in the house of an unusual man. So, the boy decided to visit the man, where he learns a tragic story of how his world came to be. The story begins with the man determined to invent something amazing, ultimately continuing even when the environment had been ruined and the skies had turned to dust. That caused the gatekeeper of the environment to leave, where he left his last message of unless. One of Dr. Seuss's most important stories, the Lorax showcases the effects of a man named Wunzler's indifference and ends with him giving the only seed left in the world to the young boy. Now, although fictional, through my research, I learned that the story of the Lorax conveys much of the world we're in today. A world filled with indifference. But it can be better understood through addressing the issue of indifference, why we are indifferent, and how we can move away from feelings of apathy. Because sometimes silence can be a tragedy worse than violence. So first, we will address and observe the chemical reactions of indifference and how it has affected us on a large scale. Then, we will examine its components so we can learn why we are indifferent. And then finally, we will find and cure and we grow our compassion for humanity. So first, let's address the chemical reactions of indifference. Now, to begin, I will first define the term indifference. According to the Cambridge Dictionary in 2022, indifference is the quality of not caring or being interested in something or someone. Indifference, as Ott in 2022 states, is a protected privilege. And this privilege can be seen during one of the worst genocides to date, the Holocaust. According to Olah and Brem et al. In 2022, the genocide is defined as a physical attempt to destroy ethnic, religious, or social collectivities. During the Holocaust, the Jewish people who were being tortured and killed day in and day out thought to themselves that there was no way anyone outside of Germany knew what was going on. Absolutely no way. In fact, Elie Wiesel, a Holocaust survivor who won the Nobel Peace Prize, stated during his speech in 1999 that if they knew, surely those leaders would have moved heaven and earth to intervene. They would have spoken out with great outrage and conviction. But did we? Indifference is such an easy way to live our lives, but it ended up being a huge part in ruining theirs. And sadly, we can still see the same toxic indifference in our society today. Whether it's the Uyghur Muslims in China who are being forced into concentration camps, the ethnic cleansing of the Palestinians, the suffering individuals all across the globe, indifference is a toxin and it is evident everywhere. Even within our community here, it is shown and spread through the lack of care for our peers, our coworkers, our neighbors, or even our friends. Because sadly, we have yet to realize that it is not hatred that kills people. It is indifference that does. Now that we address the chemical reactions, let's look towards its components. Why are we indifferent? Now, to answer this question, we must address the psychological reasons behind feelings of apathy. According to Bassini in 2019, there are two major reasons as to why the bystander effect occurs. First, people do not intervene because of social influence, like conformity or peer pressure. And second,
bystanders morally exclude their victims and focus on their own group difficulties while feeling indifferent to the restriction of rights of other social groups. The bystander effect indirectly allows for conflicts to get worse because we allow perpetrators to continue.
Miller and Sutherland in 2022 further explained that the lack
of care for topics or people also rests in the relentless trauma exposure that we face through the news, social media,
or even witnessing it firsthand.
And that causes us to become weary. We have become numb. We have become desensitized to all of the suffering that is happening around the globe. It is a vicious cycle that continues to turn because we as a society, we don't feel physical pain, no matter how close they are to us. But this mindset must change because the hungry children, the homeless refugees, the suffering individuals, not to respond to their despair, not to relieve their solitude by offering them a spark of hope, and as Eli Wiesel later stated, not even offering a spark of empathy, is to exile them from human memory. And in denying their humanity, we betray our own. Because indifference is not a beginning, it is the end.
Now that we have discussed the chemical components of indifference,
let's finally learn the cure. Now, our society has been poisoned relentlessly, but we have a cure to this deadly toxin: empathy. According to Lillehammer in 2017, indifferent attitudes involve the absence of some kind of motivating attitude. We must be empathetic towards others to achieve this motivating attitude that allows us to care about people, that allows us to care about the issues that are happening around the globe. Now, that same journal further concludes that paying attention to something and forming beliefs about it can be one way to show what you truly care about. And that is how we solve the issue of indifference. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh my God, this girl, she wants me to travel across the world to volunteer. She wants me to donate thousands and thousands of dollars, right? Well, you're correct. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You don't have to do those things to make a difference. All I'm asking you to do is to find an issue that you are passionate about. Find the cause that speaks to you and do something, anything. Whether you join an organization or create one yourself, volunteer at a local center, go out and protest for what you believe in, or simply stand up for another person, you can make an impact. We will never be able to change our societal mindset if we can't do it at the individual level. Because I promise you, the change truly begins with you. So now that we have learned the antidote, let's go over what I talked about today. So first, I addressed the chemical reactions of indifference and how it has affected us on a large scale. Then, I talked about the chemical components so we can learn why we are indifferent. And finally, we learned the cure. Empathy can regrow our compassion for humanity. So don't become the once-ler. Don't wait until everything has turned to dust to start caring. Don't live your life differently and end up regretting it like he did. Spread your seed of empathy now. Become the difference in our community. Leave your message imprinted onto this world. Now the Borax left message of unless. And the once-ler, he pondered it for years until he finally realized what it meant. Unless someone